Hi all, I'm Abhishek Pandey. I'm a product manager on the AWS Systems Manager team. Today we are going to talk about a new feature within AWS IoT Greengrass, where we have closely integrated IoT Greengrass with AWS Systems Manager. So with this launch, it enables you to one manage your edge devices, so primarily your IoT Greengrass devices, alongside the rest of your IT infrastructure. So you can manage it alongside EC2 instances, AWS Outposts, as well as on-prem instances, all within Systems Manager. And this is a feature we have heard IT administrators love. On the flip side, the edge administrators will now love the fact that they can manage the full software stack for edge devices, which includes both system software, so things like patching, and application management, so things like deploying an application or managing ML models for your edge devices, all through Greengrass. Now, typically, we have seen customers in the manufacturing sector, things like industrial PCs, point of sale machines, and other industrial equipment, um, having the need to both manage applications as well as system software on the devices. And this is our way, or the AWS way of achieving that as an end goal. Today we'll go through a small demo where we'll first start off with a set of Greengrass devices. We'll then see how you can manage it. So we'll patch it and we'll get CLI access into the devices in order to troubleshoot it. So that's kind of the flow we'll go through, and then we'll also show you how using Systems Manager you can manage these devices alongside EC2 instances. So so as part of the demo, we are on the IoT Greengrass console where we have a few IoT Greengrass devices that I've registered. So as you can see here, there are around 7 or 8 devices. Now, in order to manage these devices, first we need to get the Systems Manager agent on the device. And that is how you can then take actions such as patch or get the CLI access on the device. Uh, Systems Manager agent is an open source agent that is available for in GitHub for you to take a look at. But on this demo, we'll see how to deploy it on the device itself. So the first thing is we'll go into components within Greengrass that allow you to deploy software and agents on the devices. Systems Manager agent will be one of the public components in this list, and then I'm going to go into the Systems Manager component. And so now that we are within the Systems Manager component, it basically this deploys the Systems Manager agent. I'm going to go ahead and hit deploy, and I'm going to create a new deployment and say next. Now I'm just going to give it a name. And now I have two options. I can deploy it either on a core device, which is one specific device, or on a thing group. Now, the thing group way ensures that you're able to manage these devices at scale, but for the simplicity of this demo, I'm just going to deploy it to one of my core devices. And I'm going to deploy it to a device called Pubby Thing 7. I'm going to hit next. So it basically shows me the components I selected. So I selected the first Systems Manager agent component, and I'm going to hit next again. Okay, great. So once you are in the component, you have to basically specify a certain set of configurations for the component, right? So the Systems Manager agent needs a few things to operate. For one, it needs a role to basically talk to. Okay, pause. We'll edit this. But so once you're my bad. Okay. So once you're in the component, you need to basically configure it. The Systems Manager agent needs IAM permissions to talk back to the Systems Manager service, and therefore you need to create a role that gives that permission. In this case, I've created a role that gives IAM permissions to talk to systems manager as well as S3 permissions, but you can refer to the user documentation to get more details on this. The other thing is I've created a name for my resource. So you can specify any number of tags that you want, which will be applied to this deployment group. Um, and so this is kind of the way you can manage these devices at scale. We have seen customers traditionally, and talking to customers, use like tags like test environments or specific deployment types and getting a tag against that to make sure they, instead of managing them individually, they can manage it as a group. And so these are the configurations you require, and I'm going to go down and just hit confirm, which basically takes me here. And then I don't have any specific configurations here. So I'm just going to hit deploy. So what now it's doing in the backend is it's kind of deploying the systems manager agent on the device itself. And so that's how you kind of set the whole thing up, right? So now we'll show two parts to it. One, we'll show how you can manage this device using systems manager, which is especially useful for IT admins. So let's just go through that flow first. So I'm going to hit this button, manage in AWS Systems Manager, and that essentially takes me to Fleet Manager. And I'm just going to refresh this one more time, make sure we get all the devices here. Okay, so this is great. I had named uh, and so you can see I had a few devices that I had registered before show up in Systems Manager, Fleet Manager. So I have around 10 devices which are now registered here, and now I can manage them as a set of devices. You can also have EC2 instances on this list, which gets managed through SSM and Systems Manager. And similarly, you could have AWS Outposts, show it as a list. So now if you're an IT administrator, the beauty of it is as soon as you register that component on Greengrass, you get complete visibility of your IT infrastructure here. So now that we are in there, let's see what we can do with it, right? So I'll just click select, and then I'm going to say, go ahead and start a terminal session on it. This didn't work. Okay, let's try something else. So now that we are in here, let's try to see what we can kind of do with it, right? So I'm going to select a device, and I'm going to say start a session. And so what this should do is open a CLI session on your device. So I can run like a date command, and you get the date. So the beauty of this is because it's an agent on the device, you don't need to open any inbound ports. You just need outbound ports, and that reduces the need for truck rolls, basically sending people over, or essentially any security or bastion hosts that are required here. Optionally, you can also do other things such as patch nodes, view the file system, view other performance counters such as CPU and memory, and so on and so forth, which we'll not go into right now into the detail. Uh, the other thing that you could do, especially as an edge administrator, is you could go to your core devices, select one of the devices that we just managed or onboarded in the past. Okay, sorry, I went to the wrong device. Okay, the other thing that you could do as an edge administrator is you could go to core devices on Greengrass and select a device that you use systems manager with, right? So I'm going to say thing 10, which I had earlier did the same component deployment on systems manager, and then you can see the component is deployed, and then you can say that you have a set of systems manager actions here. So for example, if you say run a command. So you can go here to run a command, which is basically remotely run commands on your instance, or you can kind of use patch now to run a on-demand scan of patches on your instance or install your instance. So that's kind of what I had for you today. Just as a quick recap, this launch enables IT administrators to manage their edge devices, so do things like patching alongside their rest of the IT infrastructure. And this launch also allows edge administrators to kind of manage the full stack of their edge devices right from the Greengrass console. So you no longer require integrations with third-party tools, and your operational policies remain consistent across your device types. That's it for today. Thank you for your time, and yeah, signing off.